Brought you guys down here to Manatee County to show you Florida's next luxury residential community, the mountains at Piney Point. And I brought Eddie Spears with me. He's the only candidate that would come out here in knee-high grass. Those of you that don't know, Piney Point is the Britney Spears of phosphate plants. Back in 2021, officials dumped 215 million gallons of untreated wastewater right into Tampa Bay.
This is the source, largely, of red tide.
We got news bigger than Jerry Nadler's waistline. These ponds behind us, the ones that they talk about the liner splitting, they haven't had a liner in them since they built the plant back in 1966. Florida has just kept it hidden, and politicians roll with it because nobody wants to be the guy to speak out against the phosphate companies. Eddie will be the guy to speak out against the phosphate companies. I would have tried to invite Vern Buchanan, but I know Vern works for the phosphate companies. Eddie doesn't. Vern signed a letter on behalf of the phosphate companies to the federal EPA saying, listen, stay out of our state, and if you come to our state to do radiation surveys on top of these mountains, we want advance notice, and you have to come through us first. Why would he do that? Well, Vern's got a huge yacht that he can just sail to clean water. He has no yacht. You have no yacht.
Nope. Got it. Little boat.
He's got a little boat.
Won't go far.
He's not getting to any cleaner water than you and I are drinking. That's why I like Eddie Spears. I don't like Vern Buchanan. I don't know. There's something about him owning a yacht called the entrepreneur when he's a politician that doesn't sit right with me. When I got to talking to him about how bad the phosphate companies were and how bad their pollution was, his jaw hit the floor. He couldn't believe it.
When Vern Buchanan votes for the Green New Deal, it's just virtue signaling conservative environmental causes when we've got a cause right here that needs our attention.
Do you know how they're getting rid of all this stuff?
I do now, thanks to you.
They're pumping it underground, and they're saying, don't worry, we're pumping it 3,500 feet below the brackish level of the aquifer in Florida. And they said, don't worry, it'll be out of sight, out of mind. But history tells us we should be very worried about this because in 2005, St. Pete, the federal EPA said, look, you cannot do this with sewage. So why is it okay with this stuff? Why would we override common sense?
Yeah, sewage or radioactive. Take your pick.
I bet you there's more money involved with that.
I bet you're
the
right.
money pays more to do this. When I was telling Eddie Spears how to get rid of this stuff, he was shocked. He was like, no way. The way they were supposed to avert a catastrophe like they had at Piney Point is they take all the wastewater and they treat it with lime and then they dump it in the nearest waterway, which here is Bishop Harbor. And they've been killing fish in Bishop Harbor since 1970. And we still haven't learned. Why I like Eddie Spears is there's only one negative article I can find on him, and that was written by Florida Politics. And basically they said he doesn't understand the IRS tax law. But that's what I want out of a politician because that means he's like me. The fella that wrote the article, it was a hack article, and just the insults were all about Eddie. And I go, what did Eddie do to this guy to make him angry? And then I scroll down in the article, Eddie tagged him. And that's what made him mad. The writer of the article is that guy on Facebook that gets mad at groups when you at everybody. And now he doesn't like Eddie. I'm Matt the Welder. He's Eddie Spear, FJB, and I really miss Lane Frost.
Let's take this country back for we the people. Go win, and Godspeed.